Hi everyone, Will Layton with the Real Estate Group. Today we're going to talk about the decision you have to make when you get PCS orders out of town and you're trying to decide whether you should sell your current house or rent your current house. When we're looking at the financial side, obviously the first thing you need to worry about is, can you sell it? So if you are underwater on the house, meaning that you owe more on it than you would get out of it, a lot of times that decision is very simple. No, we don't want to sell the house because I don't have to pay money to have to do it. But if you're been in the house 3 to 5 years, you might be breaking even on it at that point, assuming there hasn't been any appreciation. I've got a great spreadsheet for that. We plug in all the numbers, everything from the attorney's fees to realtor's fees to city and state taxes, moisture termite inspection. It goes on and on and on. If you need that, I've got it for you. I'll simply email it to you and we can get an idea of what your proceeds might be when you sell your house. And that'll help you make that decision. Next, would it make a good rental? If you've got a really beautiful house with brand new floors and beautiful walls and white carpet, and you think to yourself, I don't want to let someone in here that's going to trash it. Well, that's a valid concern. Maybe it's not the best house to use as a rental. It's your call. But if you live in a 2,000 square foot, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, right in the middle of Marysville, south of Oceana, that's an ideal rental spot because there's a lot of people that need a rental like that. So something to consider. Then there's the opportunity cost. If you have equity in the house, you can pull that equity out when you sell it and you can use that for something else, whether it's a down payment on a future house or putting it into another investment like the stock market. And the way I like to look at it is, if I have that cash, let's say you have $50,000 you could pull out of your house, and I invest that in the stock market at 10%, what am I going to earn compared to what my cash flow and appreciation are going to be on that house during the same time frame? So again, it's something to consider. I'm happy to go through the numbers with you on that one, but it's the opportunity cost of that money and then the hassle factor. If you don't want any hassle, a rental and being a landlord is probably not for you. And lastly is capital gains. If you've lived in your house for the last two of the last 5 years, you don't have to pay capital gains up to $500,000 for a married couple. It's slightly different for military because if you PCS out of the area more than 50 miles, it extends out to 15 years. So you have to live in it for 2 of the past 15 years, which makes it usually not a factor for most folks. They can still, with appreciation on the house, not worry about paying the capital gains on that. And then there's the emotional side. Do you love the house? Did you remodel the kitchen, spend a lot of time on the kitchens and baths, put your heart and soul into the yard? If that's the case, you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I want to keep this because I want to move back into it if I ever get orders back here. Something to consider. Will you outgrow it? So let's say you have a 3-story condo in Chicks Beach and you're married with no kids. You're thinking, this is great, we're gonna have this place forever. I can't tell you how many times I've seen baby pictures in houses for sale in Chicks Beach with baby gates on all the stairways. It's hard to get kids up and down those stairs and groceries and everything when you're a mom or dad with a young child. So a lot of times those are great places. If you don't have kids, as soon as you have them, you're like, well, wow, I really kind of wanted to live in something with less stairs and a great yard. So think about that. Then there's FOMO, fear of missing out. Maybe you've always wanted to live near the water or the beach and you're living in a great house, central in Virginia Beach, but you say, I've always wanted to live close to the water. And lastly, do you want to be a landlord? If you keep it as a rental, you're responsible for it. Things break, are you ready to make those calls to get the HVAC fixed and the plumbing leaks fixed? And then when the renters move out, finding the new renters, all that's a little bit of a hassle. And if you're excited about it, it's great. But if it's something that you're dreading to start with, and that call comes in the middle of the night, you're not looking forward to that at all. So if you want to be a landlord, that's awesome. If you don't, selling is probably your best option. So there's 8 questions to ask yourself just to get started on trying to figure out whether you should rent or sell when you're getting your PCS orders. There's other things to consider as well, and the easiest thing for you to do is give me a shout and I can come over and talk to you, take a look at your house, see how much you might be able to get for it, and take a look at your situation and you can bounce stuff off me to decide whether what you guys have decided is a good decision or not. So if you're going to sell your house, I'm your first choice to talk to about that. And then also for renting, we have a great property management service that we can hook you guys up with, and they can take care of everything, finding the renter, you name it. So either way, you've got an advisor, a mentor you can talk to, and I'm happy to help.